Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering a new series on this channel. This is the second season of Chasing Orlando. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video in support of me, and you can subscribe if you are new to this channel, and you can also leave your comments below. Now let's get into this premiere episode. All right, y'all. So let me just give a brief history. Chasing Orlando, which is part of the Chasing Reality franchise. I first started watching anything about Chasing Reality because of Chasing Orlando. I saw it advertised, and then I was seeing Started by Nature and his crew. They would review the show. And I said, well, let me just give this show a try. So I watched season 1, and I was locked in. I ended up not reviewing, just watching, just wanted to get a feel of what is going on. So then I ended up reviewing Chasing Dallas, their latest season. I think that was season 5 or season 6. So I've been locked in for the Chasing series. I still have not gone back to the other franchises. I am going to eventually do that, but I was looking for something different in reality TV because a lot of it can be predictable. A lot of it can just be something. I was getting very fatigued over that type of reality that I've been so used to. You can go through my playlist and see the type of stuff I actually watch. So it was a nice turn, and I love seeing that people who are entrepreneurs, who are chasing after their dreams. And that's what it's about. Of course, reality TV is about drama. So, and it's also about comedy too. So we're gonna get it all. So I'm an official reviewer of Orlando. So we start off this episode with Cali Boy. He was on last season. He does own a chicken restaurant. He had a place. It wasn't really up to par as far as he was sharing a place with someone else, and it just wasn't up to code. So he ended up moving over to this gas station. No shame in your game, because gas station chicken is good. Depends on where you go. Now, it's probably best if you go to some of these truck stops, especially if you have like a turnpike in your state and in your vicinity. Those are probably some of the best, or off the highway. Try it sometime. So anyways, he's in there. Another person that was on, the cast member that was on last season, AO, he ends up stopping by. He gives a little update on him. He's going to different casting calls and modeling gigs. Cali Boy says that he moved his mom in with her because she has cancer. AO has also moved to Orlando. Some of them weren't technically really in Orlando area. They were, I think somebody was in Miami at the time, I think, if I remember correctly. But who's having a kickback? Is it AO that's having a kickback, or is it Cali Boy? No, Cali Boy. No, AO. When is it supposed to be AO? Because now I'm trying to think, because they ended up having a pool party. So I don't know. I'm a little bit lost. I thought it was AO at first, but then it was Cali Boy's party. Unless AO is about to have another party. I don't know. Anyways, he said that he's going to have a kickback, and he ended up inviting Max. Last season, they got into it. So much was going on last season. What happened was, Cali Boy had brought out that there seemed to be some type of attraction between Max and AO. Max denied and said da-da-da-da-da. Even though it was looking like, okay, there was like some mutual attraction going on. Then stuff was said, was brought back to each other about what the other was thinking and saying, and all that good stuff. But we haven't gotten there yet. But Max's father passed away, and that's when AO decided to reach out to him. They started discussing some of the drama because AO was also going viral because of some of the stuff that was happening last season with Devin. Devin was a cast member last season. He's not on this season, which I was like, oh, they still showing his picture. So I was like, oh, he is, because I don't see him on at least the main flyer. So, but anyways, that's when we had Cake Gate. Oh, that was a mess. That was a mess. That was a mess. Anyway, partners should not be getting involved. Something was said on the show where AO was like, do you want to get slapped? Devin, AO, and Devin's boyfriend were at the same event. The boyfriend ended up wanting to confront AO about what he said. But he said, oh, you want to slap my boyfriend? And then AO was like, no, that's not what I said. And then we see in the footage, you said, do you want to get slapped? I mean, that wasn't a threat. But I mean, I don't know. Possibly the boyfriend just overstepped his bounds, but the whole main topic or the point that they were trying to make is that if a partner, fiance, husband should not be getting involved in what we got going on here. And look, I'll just say this is just those were season 1 F-ups. Just take it on the chin and let's just do better later on. So after that, Cali Boy was like, look, you may be trying to be nice with Maximum. What is his name? Maximilian. But he's going to have to give me an apology. And I think it all stems back to stuff that was going on where Max had called his boyfriend to come meet him and was supposed to be fighting people on his behalf because allegedly Max had said that he was getting jumped. And that's why the boyfriend came. That's not true, but we're going to clear that up in just a few minutes. So, we meet a new cast member, Margella. We're going to go with Mark, and I'll promise I'll remember your name in the future. He's a rapper. He's from Bronx, 24. He's already made 2 albums, and his latest release is called, as far as the album, Doll Edition. Since he's moved down from the Bronx to Florida, he's trying to find a new friend circle. He's friends with Remini. Remini was on last season, and I think the pronouns are she, her, I think, or she, they, I think. But I don't know if Remini does drag or identifies a different way. But Remini was getting into it with a lot of folk last season too. But anyway, Remini is doing this competition for drag at a spot called The Gig. So Remini ended up winning this competition, and Mark is invited by Remini to start hanging around the group of friends. Next up, we meet another new cast member, Marlo K. And the K stands for keep these fake bitches away from me. I said, okay. Whew. So Marlo comes by Chef's place, Chef Pablo. He was on the cast last season. Shout out to him. But Marlo is 27. She's a health preventative coordinator and a community liaison. Chef is going to help Marlo with some cooking classes and all that good stuff. On Chef's end, things are booming for him. He's getting a lot of different dates as far as with his business, as far as being a chef and catering, and the classes and all that good stuff is going great. I think he does a lot more of online teaching as far as those classes are. And he also moved. Marlo and Chef, they have this type of bro and little sis type of relationship. You know, Chef, he's got some grown children and some others that are a little bit younger. But he said a couple of them have went off to college. I forgot how many he got though. And when you look at Chef, you don't really think that he's got grown kids. He looks, respectfully, he looks so young. Yeah, but anyways. They talk a little bit about what happened after the reunion. It looks like Marlo was some type of commentator for like a pre-reunion type thing. I can't say if I remember that part, but I'll go back and see if there's some type of footage out there so I can just see about her. But Marlo does a lot of content creating, it looks like, on the side. But anyways, things happened. First, Chef Pablo went into a depression after reunion. From my assumption of what Chef was saying, it looks like he was really affected by the read that Remini gave him about him living in the projects. And of course, added on about rats and roaches and stuff like that. I don't think it was that, but I think whatever it did, it ended up pushing Chef to go and get a different place and to get up out of projects. Let's see. But Chef's got a little something against Marlo because Marlo allowed Remini to come on to the live, and he was talking cash money-ish on Pablo. And he wasn't going for that, especially if we have that type of relationship. Why would you do that? I think Remini was talking about Pablo's kids, and that's just off limits. Don't do that. And it should have been stopped. But anyways, it kind of just really made peace in regards to that, but he did not like that type of what was going on. And Chef and Cali Boy, they got something going on. I forgot what it was. But anyways, in her confessional, they started talking about, going to this party situation, and Marlo is talking about Max. I don't think that Max is a thousandaire. I think he's more of a or millionaire. I think he's more of a hundredaire. I was like, okay, so there's some pre-existing beef between y'all? Like, what's going on there? I don't know. All right, so we move on to AO. AO, he's at the R&B nights. He has his group. From what I remember from last season, he would go to these places, and as far as I know, he was lip syncing to different songs. Because I think that was part of the gripe of, okay, you were inviting us out. I think they went to something that he had going on. As far as I can remember, but y'all can let me know in the comments. Not trying to be shady, I'm just trying to remember everything that happened last season. We are introduced to this new cast member. His name is Fabio. He's coming to meet AO. He's a singer, songwriter, and rapper, and a former wrestler. He has been living in Tampa, but now is moving more towards Orlando area. He's really taking his singing and his music serious. He has a song called "Break It" that ended up getting over 100,000 streams, and he's pushing to get an EP out pretty soon. I'm gonna go listen to his music. So shout out to Mr. Fabio, and shout out to Mark too. Of course, AO has invited him to the party that's going to be happening, and Fabio's like, "Look, I'm cool or whatnot, but God's still working on me," because he was really letting on that, he has a temper and fights can't break out with him being involved in them. Next up, we see B Baby Lindo. B Baby, I feel, is kind of the heart of the show, meaning that he got along with everyone and didn't try to start any trouble with anyone. So he was just kind of the one that everyone just loved to hang around with no conflict. So this season looks different though. Not as far as on B Baby's side, as far as I saw in the trailer. I don't know what's gonna happen, but hey, we're gonna see how the season, what I wanna say, what is the word I wanna say? However, the season actually flushes out. So he's doing this show because he's a stripper, but he does some type of more, even though I'm saying exotic dancing, that means that, okay, he's a stripper. No, he puts on a performance as far as even with his strip shows that he has. Who was he with? Was he with Remini? Oh, because B Baby was talking about, it's no shade to anyone else out there that are entertainers doing in the same realm, but him and Remini are probably the most booked within that region. But he was nervous about a show that was, who was nervous? Was it Remini or Baby B? I didn't write it down, unfortunately. One of them is nervous. No, it was Baby. He was, because Remini was like you're the shit, just do your thing. So now Max and AO, they meet up. First, Max says, "Hey, thank you for reaching out to me after my father passed." Then they start to hash out if Max was being friendly or flirty. The problem is that Max had a boyfriend, so he was getting a little bit caught up in regards to what Cali Boy was pointing out as to what he was seeing between him and AO. And as I was stating before, that things were getting out and told to each other by different ones, hey, it looks like he is sexually attracted to you and all that. AO did admit that he was sexually attracted to him, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, they also talked about Max calling his boyfriend. And it got back to him that Max was trying to say that he told his boyfriend that he was getting jumped. That wasn't true. And Max said, no, that wasn't what was up. I told my boyfriend to get here. And what was going on is that the type of day that he had, he knew that Max needed help right then and there because of all the stresses and stuff that was going on with him. And he didn't want to get out of control at that point. And his boyfriend at the time was the one that was able to at least regulate whatever was going on. AO was like, we didn't know all this stuff was going on, da 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 da. Anyways, they squashed everything and they're just going to move forward and start a friendship. So I guess put your your sword down and button up them holes. Sorry about that. Ain't no sexual pleasure going on right now. We just gonna start as friends again. All right, so Cali Boy, see, that's where I'm confused, because I thought this was supposed to be AO's situation. I'm confused. Because I could have sworn, because Cali Boy was saying, even when they were sitting down, like, I'm going to invite somebody that's going to stir up some ish to keep the people on their toes. So I don't know whose party it is. But anyways, Cali Boy is having this pool party, and we see the function of where it's at, and it's a nice place. AO said, this is a far out place. And it took me a while to get there. I think Fabio even said it. And then Marlo was cracking me up. Marlo, she said, I had to drive. Look, that was funny to me. But in Florida, I'm sure it probably had to be somewhere out west, meaning past whatever your toll bridge is, or toll, the toll freeway. Anything that's not in a city, it could be far away. It can be far away. So I think it was past that. So whatever. Turnpike. That's what I meant to say. So since Cali Boy says, I got a surprise person coming to shake things up, I'm paraphrasing. So Cali Boy, are you a ghost producer? I'm just gonna have a mental note here. So if I gotta revisit this, it'll be on the table someplace. So there's another new person. I guess they're going to be a friend. But we meet a trans woman, Rashida Fox. Rashida's from Homestead, which is basically Miami, and is friends with Marlo. Everybody sits down, and everyone's going to start introducing themselves. Fabio and Rashida were kind of hitting it off. I thought that they were flirting with each other. What did y'all think about that? Because I was like, what's happening here? So everyone, okay, this happened before everyone introduced themselves, but everyone started introducing themselves. Rashida was like, no, there's nothing really to talk about me. Then she says what she needs to say about herself. And then Marlo, she talks about herself and then ends up saying that, basically, that she knows that some of y'all been talking about her. And AO was like, well, since you brought it to the table, let's talk about it. And she was like, no, I'm just putting y'all on notice. Marlo, with the K. If you're going to be Marlo K, the one that keep these fake bitches away from me, no, let's address it. Like, I don't know why anyone is already saying stuff and you haven't even really met. That's a little bit off and quite odd. And I don't think that that's ever good, especially for people that are coming into the group. I don't know. And starting a new season, at least find a little bit more out and to meet them, and then you have your own perceptions a little bit later. That's my opinion. But we need you to confront stuff and not backpedal and pussy pop your way out of stuff. Nah, we don't need that. B Baby is introducing himself and all that, and he's talking about, I'm just ready to just kick it. We can start thumping, and then Rashida said, hold up. Now you're not gonna be talking about some thumping, In the Miami area, when you say thumping, that means that you start fighting. Rashida? Because then you start going off on him. And then talking about, your introduction is so fake, you're not even giving your real authentic self. All because you heard somebody say thumping. And because it's lingo down in Miami, you think you need to bring that same rah-rah in Orlando. No. How I can explain Florida, there's North Florida. That's like the Jacksonville area. Central Florida, that's when you start thinking about Tampa, Orlando, I think St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg may be more north, but whatever, or central. And then you get down to south. That's where you got the Palm Beaches, Broward County, Miami-Dade County, Naples, over there on the west coast of Florida. Yeah, and then you got Miami. Just to let you know, Miami doesn't really count themselves as being a part of Florida. Miami is its own thing. It's its own territory. It's just like, we Miami and y'all Florida. So, Rashida, keep that down there. And Max is trying to explain, hey, all I heard about is thumping last season, so that's the culture of what's going on around here. I don't know what's going on as far as what Miami has to offer, but I'm not here to fight. None of that stuff. So, then all of a sudden, a B Baby's friend who was at the party came in and was like, hey, is everything okay? I don't even know how he... Well, beforehand, no. Somebody all of a sudden interrupts B Baby. And they was like, what's going on around here? Is she even on the cast? And she was like, oh, you know what? She started naming off, she said, I've been watching Orlando since season 1, episode 1, and you was doing it. What? Everybody's like, are we being punked? So Chef Pablo, as this girl is just trying to go on and stuff, interrupting the flow of what was going on, said, look, anyways, I'm Chef Pablo. I got this going on, da-da-da-da-da. I'm here to network and let's make some money, da-da-da-da. And at the same time now, the girl is interrupting him after Chef interrupted her. However, I think Chef was more in the right, even though whomever the host is, I guess that's Cali Boy, should have been the one to say, hey, no, we're not doing this. So that's when B Baby's friend ended up coming in to see, okay, are you good? And then all of a sudden things started getting heated between him and Rashida. And then it just became a ball of confusion up in there. Because Chef got pissed because now this girl is trying to interrupt him, and Rashida's trying to take up for this girl. For what? You're just getting into the circle yourself and you act like you need to take up for her. Why? Because this girl isn't supposed to be here in the first place. So why is she here? And I'm seeing how you're moving even more in this episode, Rashida, and it doesn't make any sense. They're trying to calm down Chef, da-da-da-da-da. The things get out of hand, and now Cali Boy's trying to get things squared away, and him and AO kind of tussle, but then Fabio is anchoring up. He's trying to stop stuff, but then he gets heated and now wants to fight. He's tussling with Cali Boy. It was confusion. So what they did have common ground is that Baby B's friend needed to go. So Baby B's friend is leaving. I guess he got some people with him too. So they're leaving, and we're finding out that the dude is still talking to Cash Money-ish. We got Rashida, she getting on the DJ Mike, saying that you gotta go, blah, 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 now. And I said, cool, if y'all got that type of energy for him. But what about that girl? I'm not understanding why this girl was a part of what was going on. But anyways, since the friend was still talking ish, some other people started running up behind him. They was jumping fences to come get him. And I ended up putting on slow motion because I needed to know. Next thing we know, we saw that the friend was laid out on the ground. From what I saw, Fabio knocked him out. I could be wrong. Somebody else can tell me something different. I could be corrected on that. Fabio, oh my gosh, I said, how did this happen? How did it get so out of control? Y'all, oh my God. But all I can say that this was a great premiere. I didn't expect this to happen on the premiere like this. Oh yeah. We're back. We are back. Orlando is back, and I'm proud to really represent my state. I am in South Florida, so yeah, gotta represent y'all. Thank you for representing us too, to the whole cast and crew. So I'm glad that you're back. The trailer looks good, the promo looks good, even the cast photo, the creative director, chef's kiss. Y'all were on it. Y'all were on it. Y'all are bringing a new flavor, and guess what? The rest of the franchises, y'all better step it up. That's all I can say. In the second season, for how much that they raised the bar, step it up. Now, I should say that I have not seen the other franchises outside of Dallas, and that was just season 6. So maybe I'm talking a little bit too premeditated, but we shall see. Anyways, I'm excited. Y'all let me know about these new additions. If you watched last season, or if this is your new season, let me know that. Or if this is your first season, let me know that. And what do you think about some of the storylines and all that? And is Rashida doing too much? And does Marlo need to just step up and just let whoever needs to know, hey, I'm Marlo K. That's all I got. That's all I got. And did Fabio do too much? Because that, like, what? What? You don't even know like, I don't know. But anyways, we shall see. We'll see the fallout of what happens on the next episode. But shout out to the Chasing crew, everybody. And until the next one, like this video, subscribe, share. And until the next one, peace.